So just did a build showcase showing this build for Jayce, but again I figured we'd go through a champion breakdown. Going to do a little bit different this time, where I'm going to focus more on specific builds for him and what sort of relics you could sub in for those and still be powerful with him, and see if that structure works a bit better for us. But let's first talk about his constellations. Most of his power really comes from his 2 and 3 star, primarily his 3 star, and the champion itself. Of course, his mana flow here to get an extra mana gem is actually really important for him, so highly recommend getting this. His 6 star is not important. I don't have it. I really don't think it makes that big of a difference. It's good, but it's icing on the cake. So I wouldn't focus on that. You can definitely still be very successful with him, even at just 3 star, but getting the extra mana flow is big. You don't really need his 4th star, but having some early blockers can be handy, just to make sure that you get to 6 mana and you can be casting your 6 cost plus spells as soon as possible. So with that, yeah, his 6 or his 3 star is that when you cast a 6+ cost spell, you reduce the cost of non-spells in your hand by 1 and give allies bonus power as well as random keywords. So this just helps you scale up your board. You're trying to cast a lot of 6+ cost spells and get those buffs for your units as well as keywords, so that you can keep yourself healthy and essentially overpower the enemy. With that, the main build I like to run him with in terms of relics are the Jayce's Hextech Battery, Protectors of Demacia, and the Chemtech Duplicator. These can be swapped out for some things. I think the Chemtech Duplicator is probably the most strength that you're getting out of this, actually, even though these are epic and this is only rare. These ones can be swapped out for other options that are reasonable and can still be good. So with that, let's look at some of the other options. The primary thing we're getting out of this is the mana refill. We have some other options in terms of mana refill. So we can use Hidden Tome if you have that instead. This will allow you to get mana when you play a champion. So when you play Jayce, you'll get your spell mana back. When you level him up, you'll get your spell mana back. And when you play other champions, you will also get spell mana or level them up. So with like this build, once you get Lux out there, she isn't played, so you won't get spell mana for her coming on the board. But when you play a 6-cost spell, she will level up, and you'll get your spell mana back. That'll potentially get you in a position to be able to cast another spell if you have enough mana gems, base mana gems left over. So, for instance, if you're at 6 mana gems and you got 3 from Jayce, 3 spell mana from Jayce being played, or you just have it left over, you can use that 3 spell mana plus 3 of your 6 mana gems to cast a spell that will level up Lux. She will refill your spell mana, and then you could use your remaining 3 mana gems and your 3 spell mana to cast yet another 6-cost spell. So this can work very well. Very decent substitute for the Jayce Hextech Battery. Less stats on Jayce, but yeah, this works pretty well overall. Then if you don't have the Hidden Tome in terms of rare options, you can certainly be using the Archangel's Staff. This is also very strong on Jayce, just having that extra spell mana at the start of each turn. Really good. And if you don't have the Archangel's Staff, of course, you can use the Lost Chapter. This will refill your mana when you play Jayce, so just helps make sure that you have the spell mana to cast 6+ cost spells. If you don't have Protectors of Demacia, or you want other options to work with, you can use other things that will help, like guarantee that you get Jayce out, stuff like that. This would be less effective with Lost Chapter. This would be better with, like Jayce's Hextech Battery. But if you use Frozen Tomb, this will make sure that on your turn 4, you always get him out. And that means that rather than spending mana on playing him, you can be spending that right away at the beginning of the turn on casting a 6+ cost spell, getting him his level up and trying to get, or maybe he'll already be leveled up if you've already cast 6+ cost spells on previous turns. He will instantly level up, refill your mana, get you other things going on. So there will be some anti-synergy in that sense if you have already gotten him to 2 6+ cost spells by turn 4 when he pops out of the tomb. Then you're not going to trigger any refill here. One nice thing that can happen with Frozen Tomb also, though, is if you play out Jayce before turn 4, you can have 2 Jayces on the turn on your board, and then you will also get double the duplication from his level up. So first time you play a 6+ cost spell, you copy it to the same targets. So if you have 2 Jayces on the boards, you'll effectively be getting like a Chemtech duplicator. So if you don't have this is an option also to sort of replace Chemtech duplicator, having 2 Jayces on the board and duplicating your 6+ cost spells that way. So let's see, in terms of other options, you can also just focus on scaling his you can focus on scaling his mana gems. So if you go to Starforged Gauntlets here, let's see, here we go, Starforged Gauntlets, we will need Luminous Orb. Is this, I'm looking at the picks, there we go, Luminous Orb. So this will get him enough to be Titanic. So he has, +3 here, +2 there. So he will be at 9 health, and that'll be enough to trigger Starforged Gauntlets. This is a lot of investment just to get 1 extra mana gem at the start, but because he is pretty reliant on getting to 6 mana gems, this is an option. I think the Chemtech duplicator is much better on him, but this is if you want to focus on getting to 6 mana gems as quickly as possible, this is an option for him that can be quite good. Because his 2-star does automatically generate things in hand, you don't necessarily need a 6+ cost spell. You should have at least 1 in your hand every turn. However, this does give you some removal. This is a decent option for him, as well as, I think, the better option, though, than Falling Comet would be the Grand General's counter plan. So this would not work with these, but if you have this, and then you have, some other things to give you mana, such as Archangel's Staff. The Archangel's Staff, so like Chemtech duplicator and Archangel's Staff. This is very reasonable in terms of a build, just using blue gems. Again, if you don't have like Archangel's Staff, you can always sub this out for the Lost Chapter. You're primarily focusing on spells, and I wouldn't really recommend builds focusing on combat stats for him. He's definitely, you're trying to just get mana, cast spells, and have those duplicated. So those would be the things I would focus on. I think those are going to be the strongest builds for him. If you only have combat things, you can certainly put combat relics in for him, but I don't think that's where you're going to get the most strength. Any discounts and things like that on stuff are things you actually tend to want to avoid. You don't want to be discounting his spells especially, and really when you're drafting, you want to make sure you're not discounting spells. You want to make sure that you are just casting things at their 6 cost, and then that'll reduce the cost of your units, and you're able to get those out pretty easily, which is good. One other thing, Overwhelm can be good on him, just because with his 3-star, we are getting a lot of power bonuses to our things as we're casting our 6+ costs. So having either like Troll King's Crown or having something like where is it? Our Beast Within. The Beast Within, here we go. These are, whoops, I would have to go in an epic slot. I need to just unlock his 3rd epic slot. I don't really have a need for 3 epics on him, just with the builds I run. So, but this is definitely some value, but again, personally, I would focus more on the spell duplication and whatnot. Having things focused around that will really get you the most power out of his build. So hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any other thoughts or you are curious about other potential things with Jayce or other champions, and I'll go into those. But that's about it here, and we'll catch you in the next one.